Hmm. Yeah, it does this, and then it keeps the other stream still live, so people don't know that there's a new one. Let's see if we can go there and fix it. Yeah, I hate that, and I can't stop the other one. Well, hopefully you guys have figured this out by now, that when it drops, it has to start a new stream. Yeah, and I can't seem to end this one. So, well, not a lot I can do about that, sorry. Hopefully you guys will find your way back here. As I said, you're probably used to it by now. Slanty Chauffeur Bear. Ah, thank you. Good now. Well, that's strange, because I'm now on the slightly retarded version of the internet for me. But okay, let's see if we can get this one going, or, you know, if the Freemason chat is back. Good, good. Lead the troops back here. Just 2 of you. There was 6 there before, so hopefully the rest are not. There's 4 thumbs up, so I don't know. Anyway, so the stream was going to be about the gay Freemasonic Bible. There you have it. There it is. The KGV. Now, this particular edition is one I bought for somebody else and then didn't send. But, you know, it's got the gold little pages. Looks really nice. And I gotta admit, I had my first Bible that I started to like read a bit when I was traveling and stuff, because I was moving around a lot. I was working in hello Rakir. Looks like it says there's 2 of you, but there's like 7 thumbs up, so I don't know if people are dropping in and out. I don't know if the stream quality is okay. I hope it is. But yeah, my I'm just thinking, oh, it is over there. I do have it. I've got a little, you can almost see it right there in the corner where I'm pointing now, sort of down there. There's a little traveling King James Bible that I had with me. Well, I suppose the people dropping out wouldn't be able to tell me that they're dropping out of the stream. There's only 2 of you here. Any delays? You got video delay? Like I said, I'm not operating on the best internet right now. Stream looks fine to me. Bob, okay. Maybe it's just not picking up all of you guys up, because there's at least 5, 6, 7 of you, I don't know, and it's only showing me 3. But anyway. So King James, turns out, was a Freemason. Yeah, the watcher count is definitely broken, or grabbled, I don't know, or Freemasoned, who knows. Now there's quite a few videos done by Protestants trying to say that King James wasn't a Freemason, but I'm afraid that he was. In fact, I found this little website here, which I'm gonna just post the links to these things on the chat here, in case you guys want to read it with me. There you go. King James, the founder of Freemason lodges. Let's just, here we go. I'll just read this quickly for you. The history of King James' role in the formation of Freemasonry is mandatory reading in the Hiram Key book of Masonic scrolls attempting to link Christ with the pharaohs. There you go. Straight from the Freemasons themselves, who, by the way, also on one of their Freemasonic lodges, I forget which one, I've got a screen capture of it. Maybe if I learn how to put pictures up, I'll shove it up there. They actually have a representation of him at one of their lodges. Freemasonry in its present form came into being through the lodge system established under the auspices of King James VI of Scotland, later King James I of England, the only son of Roman Catholic Mary, Queen of Scots. At the age of 37, 2 years after becoming a Mason, James became the first Stuart King of England and immediately began to persecute the Puritans, rejecting their petition to reform the Church of England along biblical lines. James was initiated into Freemasonry into the Lodge of Scone and Perth in 1601 at the age of 35. 15 years after taking active control of Scotland and 5 years before becoming English monarch, he ordered the Masonic structure be given leadership and organization. He made a senior Mason named William Shaw his general warden of the craft and instructed Shaw to revamp the entire structure of Freemasonry into what it became today. Shaw commenced this project on 28 December 1598 on the orders of James. To this day, the 1611 edition of the King James Bible remains the Freemason Bible and is the edition conveniently used in secret Masonic temple rituals. Moriel, that's the owner of this thing, of this blog, does not, however, but this is the Protestant sort of schizophrenia. Moriel does not, however, believe that the Masonic association with the King James version or the Freemasonry of King James, founder of the Masonic Lodge system, detracts from the validity of this outdated but valid translation of the Bible. Nonetheless, it is the Freemason Bible and has been from its inception, commissioned and authorized by the same Freemason king who commissioned and authorized the Masonic Lodge structure. We can only speculate how many members of the King James Version only cult are in fact Freemasons. Well, now, you can say it doesn't affect the validity of the Bible, but you see, the King James Bible has got over 30,000, some 33,000, in fact just over 33,000 errors of translation. So that's pretty piss poor, considering that the people who translated it, 54 hand-picked, handsome men by James himself. Because, of course, James was also a raging sodomite, which is why I had that particular still image for this video, for the original. I'll put it back up once it's all uploaded. It's an Amazon book that I think is called King James and his homoerotic letters or something along those lines. Also, in the 1611 King James Version, apparently there's Masonic handshakes all throughout the genealogies. Supposedly Francis Bacon had something to do with this. Now, I don't know if you guys know about this, but Freemasons use various little handshakes and certain things to, to recognize each other. And here, I'll just give you another little website you can go and look at. Tickle your fancy about King James. Gayness. And I'll read this one. King James was gay. How many folks know that King James, who commissioned the King James Bibles and to whom it was dedicated, loved men and had sex with them? At the age of 13, James fell madly in love with his male cousin Esme Stuart, whom he made Duke of Lennox. James deferred to Esme to the consternation of his ministers. In 1582, James was kidnapped and forced to issue a proclamation against his lover and send him back to France. Later, James fell in love with a poor young Scotsman named Robert Carr. The king leans on Carr's arms, pinches his cheeks, smooths his ruffled garments, and when he looks upon Carr, directs his speech to others. This is from Thomas Howard, Earl of Suffolk, in a letter in 1611. Carr eventually ended the relationship, after which the king expressed his dissatisfaction in a letter to Carr, and I quote part of the letter here. I leave out of this reckoning your long creeping back and withdrawing yourself from lying in my chamber, notwithstanding my many 100 times earnest soliciting you to the contrary. Remember that, since I am king, all your being except your breathing and soul is from me. See the letters of King James I and VI, edition GPV, Akron, University of California Press, 1984. Also see Royal Family, Royal Lovers, King James of England and Scotland, David M. Bergeron, University of Missouri Press, 1991. Ah, yes. So, all those little Protestants out there that, are trying to say that, Catholics are whatever, pagans or something. Your Bible is actually being put together by a Satanist, because that is what Freemasons are, as anyone who studied any history at all would tell you. There you go. Oh, the high priestess has come in. Or maybe she's just decided to put down the fire. I'm assuming that there are literally no Protestants in the chat. Let's just see. Okay, just you guys just saying hi and so on. Oh, this sounds bad. Well, it is bad, Carlos. A confirmed Satanist who was also a raging sodomite created the Bible, which probably most Protestants swear by. I mean, there are people that just say, the King James is the only good Bible. Apart from the fact that it was grabbled by literal Pharisees for 700 years. They messed with the version of the Bible that got translated into the King James, was messed with by literal Pharisees for 700 years. And then it was given to 54 young, handsome boys, I suppose, that James picked himself to translate, and it had over 33,000 errors. I'm not making that number up. Errors that tend to diminish the role or the certain aspects of Mary, of, just generally of the truth. Like Hail Mary, full of grace, which comes directly from the Bible. Well, they changed that one. Most favored with the Lord. No, that's not what it says. So, also, thou shalt not kill. No, it's thou shalt not murder. And there is a big difference. So you can see how perhaps this is the clearest evidence for those of you that are a bit slow that the whole Reformation was clearly a satanic endeavor. Greeny Houdini, hello, it's been a while. Hope you're not day drinking again. Just miss. Protestants, the LGBTQ stuff is just some bad denominations, not the based men of the Reformation. James and ma'ams. Very good, Chad, very good. Indeed. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I leave it open to the chat. Is there really anything left? I think that's kind of like mic drop. Yeah. So, the good news is that I am now ready to upload the videos for the digital Kurganate, which hopefully will launch soon. I'm hoping this coming week, although I've got a lot of stuff happening. But yeah, with any luck, and I want to try and see that the launch is good and doesn't have some major screw-ups. Probably impossible, given just life and the fact that I'm, well, fighting the Freemasons. So feel free to let me know of any other topic you want to discuss, because at 14 minutes I think that's all there is to say on it, really. I hope no one questions the fact that Freemasons are Satanists, although I know that a lot of Americans haven't got a clue about it. So, Slanty Chauffeur Bear says, no wonder the KGV is used for numerology and gematria. I didn't know it was, but I have never paid any attention at all to numerology and gematria, because there were people, with the whole face on Mars thing, there was people like trying to say, there's this relationship and that relationship, and I just like, look, I can make anything, Using the rules of gematria, I can literally make any monument on Earth, directly reflect the dimensions of, my little finger. I'm not going to use another part of my anatomy because we don't want to get into astronomical numbers, but literally you can make any building, anything connect to the size of my ear. It's absolute nonsense, and anyone that believes in that stuff is retarded. An error for every denomination. Very good, LS16. Take more than one, all you can heretic buffet. Very good. William Poole, who put together the ideas and practices of the Freemasons? I know Satan, but what man or men? My understanding of it is, because it's satanic, so there's a lot of hidden shit, and it's a secret society, so they're hiding stuff all the time. But essentially, it's our parenthetical friends once again. Freemasonry has a lot of Jews in it, a lot of Judaic stuff in it, and if you read Le Letta del Dragone, which I know is available in French and Italian, I don't know if it's actually ever been translated into English, which is basically the story of this woman who essentially was taken into this Freemasonic stuff at a very high level, including Garfield, the US president that was assassinated. And apparently he was assassinated because he wasn't playing ball with one of the other branches of Freemasonry, because they're Satanists, so they'll stab each other just as much as they'll stab anyone else. And there's definitely a lot of Jewish influence there, but it comes, there's a very clear progression. If you look at, the Reformation of 1521, and there's quite a lot of interesting bits on this stuff in the history series that I do on the digital Kurganet. The history series already has over like 60 video titles, and I've done about, I don't know, I've done enough to launch, but what I'm saying is that there's enough there to have plenty over the year. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be about $20 for everything, $20 a month. So let me know what you think of that. That's like a special offer price to the first 100 people, because by my reckoning, you're going to have well over 150 videos, probably closer to 200 within a year, with about 4 videos being released every week on average. That should be about what happens. So that's a pretty good deal. We're going to start out with launching, I think, 12 or 13, something like that are just going to all be there, and then it'll be adding 4 a week every week. So I think it's, in a year you got like something like, you've got 52 weeks, but let's say only work 48 weeks. 48 times 4 is well over 160, so you probably have almost 200 videos by the end of the year. But make allowances for weeks that things go wrong or whatever, something else happens, Do you recommend an easy-to-read Bible, or other than the Dwyer Ames? I like the simpleness of the NIV, but no, it's Protestant. I don't think that simplicity should be your aim. I think the truth should be your aim. I've got a Nestle Greek Interlinear, which has got the Greek, and then word for word in English under the Greek, and then on the side, a more grammatically correct English version. And I think that's a very good Bible. I refer to that one quite a bit. I like the Dwyer Ames, but it's every Bible. I mean, I've got a bunch of Bibles. I don't know if you can. No, you can't. I've got an Aramaic New Testament. I like to check and differentiate. Now, those of you who can afford it or whatever, there's Mike Heiser, who is a Protestant, works for a company that apparently does like biblical, that they do software that checks each word in the Bible, and you can compare that word with other words and where it's used and stuff like that. I don't go to that extent, but there are certain passages that are definitely worth getting a little bit deeper into. So, the dashing rogue Hassan al-Banna translates as Hassan the Builder. Builder is the Arabic way of saying Mason. Islam made Freemasons. I doubt it very much. I personally had some knowledge of Freemasons because when I was doing the bodyguarding stuff, one job, there was this new guy that came into it, and he was a Freemason, and apparently a high-level one. And he sort of said, "Hey, do you guys want to become Freemasons?" And I was like, "Nah, thanks." The Jewish guy I was working with, yeah, sure. So he got all the way into it, and yeah, I mean, I haven't heard from him since. So he was pretty inconsistent anyway, though, the Jewish guy. So I doubt he got very far into it. And after a while, he was like, "Yeah, I think it's a lot of bullshit, but I kind of like the fact that they step on the Bible and they spit on Jesus and the cross." I'm like, "Oh, is that what you do there?" I'm like, yeah, we did that. So I like that, Back then, I wasn't any kind of Christian, of course. They designed the English language to be tricky. Greeny Houdini. I think the English language is, you can express things very clearly in English. Certainly Italian or any other Romantic languages can be somewhat a little bit more ambiguous. On the other hand, proper Italian, well-spoken, well-written Italian is very clear, but very few people actually use it. And then there is, Latin, which of course, Latin is a very clear language. It's very to the point, so it's hard to make a misunderstanding in Latin. But the same can be said for, somebody who's well educated in Italian, who speaks and reads and writes Italian at a high level, what I'd call a superior sort of education level. That can be very, very clear, absolutely precise, and yet extremely subtle. One of the best examples of this that I saw is a brief criticism of the Novus Ordo Mass by the Istituto Mater Boni Consiglio, which you can find on their website. In fact, I am gonna look for it right now and post the link, because it's actually a great little read. I mean, it's pretty good in English too, but it's in Italian. It's in Italian. It's truly, I don't know. It's art. It's a work of art. It's like a proper little dagger. Let's see. Here we go. So this is in Italian, but the same site you can you can choose your language, French, Spanish, English. Is Italian your first language? Could you and Vox have an animated hand gesture written argument in Italian? Yeah, Italian was my first language, but I'm probably express myself better in English because I've spoken it for a lot longer. I mean, I get by in Italian. I recently had to write a pretty official document, which had to have a few corrections in it by somebody who also speaks English, but is an Italian used to dealing with very official documents. And I had to have quite a few corrections, which were very subtle, but to the point, So yeah, English is my first language. No, I wouldn't be able to have an animated hand gesture written argument in Italian with Vox, because his Italian is, subpar. I mean, he probably reads Italian and so on, okay, but I don't think he speaks it at a level that is rapid Italian conversation level. I don't think he can do that very easily, let's say, or at least it just would be easier for us to converse in English. Did Catholic priests debate the meaning of Bible verses before the Reformation like Protestant did after it? I get annoyed at how every Protestant thinks they are the official interpreter of Jesus. Well, no, I don't think they did, because peasants knew their place, and they were peasants, and Protestants are just peasants without the common sense of a peasant, just or the manners of a peasant. So, you know, they're what's left over after you take all education, sense, religion, and beauty from peasants, then you get left with Protestants. No, they didn't debate it as much. It was between priests, perhaps they would have some conversations about it, and that's where you get the doctors of the church, like Saint Thomas Aquinas or Saint Augustine or whatever. And these guys were basically just giving deep thoughts on various theological issues. There wasn't an argument. Some random peasant wasn't going to go to his priest and say, "Well, but it says right here." He would have been bitch slapped into silence. Basha Bazi Boy Scout. Ooh, that's not a good name. Could you talk about what heaven and hell is and about Lucifer's fall? Well, I don't know what heaven and hell are, because I haven't been to either place as far as I know. I'm certainly hoping to avoid hell. But essentially, hell is a place where you no longer have any access or possibility to ever be connected or near to God. So it's literally hell. I can't think of a worse situation. And if, like myself, you've been a non-Christian for all your life, and then you suddenly have an event make you realize, oh, God is real, and then you become a Catholic, you have a much better appreciation of what hell could potentially be like. And when I say a much better appreciation, I mean that, like most of you, I have 1/10 millionth of an idea of what hell is actually like. And when I say 1/10 millionth, I mean that hell is at least 10 million times worse than the worst thing that I've passed while I was not Christian. And that idea is frightening to anybody. So I think hell is literally really bad, hell, and heaven is, well, the beatific vision. You are, with God, joined with God, and what happens there and what goes on from there, I don't know. Personally, I think that would be the end of chapter 1, and then we probably have something to do for chapter 2, because by that particular point in time, God will then have divided us into those who are loyal, no matter what, and those who are not. So, as for Lucifer's fall, I don't know. It is Lucifer's fall is somewhat of a mystery, not just to me. It is a mystery because he was the leader of the angels. He was the best of the best. And then when God created us and gave us the power to judge angels, Lucifer became jealous, and that was the cause of his downfall. He couldn't handle how lowly beasts like us would be able to judge creatures like him. But what I don't understand is that angels have been in the presence of God. They have good knowledge of what isn't right and wrong. They have perfect understanding. So how on earth you could choose to go against God is sort of beyond me. But it just takes one Karen, Moon Typhoon says, I've noticed in various points in my life the inability to communicate the deepest thoughts of my heart in words. Ah, dude, tell me about it. I have concluded it's probably due to being English speaking only. Well, that is a very pertinent comment for me at the moment. That's a very interesting take, which I've never thought of before. The English do seem to be emotionally retarded. That is that is a very good point. As are the Germans, and I mean, you know, English has got a lot of German in it as well. That could be, because there are things that are instinctive, natural things that certainly all Latin people grasp without anyone ever having to speak about it, and the English are just blatantly oblivious to it. And you know, they could be good people or whatever, but they're just blindly oblivious to it. The only Englishman I know who is not blindly oblivious to it is my most loyal henchman, the Scout, who's I'd say he's probably the only Englishman I know who's not blatantly oblivious to it. I'm almost pure Anglo-Saxon too. Hello, Ulira. Well, Monteifun, I suggest you learn a romantic language. Italian, of course, because, well, we're educated and human. You know, when you start to go into Spanish and then Portuguese, you're degrading yourself down to, you know, you can't speak Portuguese if you don't know how to swing from trees and stuff. So, Elia Poiko, good evening, Kurgan. Hello, Elia. Carlos Santos Ramos says English has a lot of French in it as well, but when I speak French, I feel totally different. Well, yes, and you probably do this kind of movement a lot when you speak French, but you know, it is what it is. Montyphoon says that I might be right. Oh, I think I am. I think I am. You know, it doesn't mean that they're bad people, the English. I quite like them. They're shy and logical for the most part, but they can absolutely do your fucking head in when they don't understand, you know, respect, behavior, honor, justice, dignity. There are so many subtle things that they just completely fuck up or have no idea about. And I think that is a mixture possibly of the English language, certainly of the Germanic influences in it and of the gay French influences, but also of the urbanization, because I think if you take an Englishman that has, you know, been working the land all his life, I did notice that if you go into little villages in the middle of nowhere in England, few and far between now because they're all urbanized, they're all, you know, the English are very good at like sort of rubber stamping things and cookie cutting stuff, so it's a cookie cut village now, they're almost urbanized anyways. But the people there, certainly, you know, 35 years ago, were very kind, very helpful, and they had a sense about things. You know, they might have had a wrong sense about things, but they had a kind of natural human thing which the modern English people just don't have. Hakan Fieldman, this might be a sin, but Mandarin is about to win. No, I think in raw numbers, Mandarin has probably won. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because there's just like 2 billion of the little fuckers. So. Carlos says, I do feel overly feminine and sensual when speaking French. How apropos to the subject of King James and his boyfriends. There you go. Michael Pekka, what are your thoughts on Slavic languages such as Ukrainian or Polish? I'm sorry, but you know my feelings on the Polish. Yeah, they are basically a retarded population. The Ukrainians, all the ones I met are pretty fucking switched on, smart, and the women certainly good looking. You know, Slavic languages that I know the most of is Russian, and Russian is a very complex language, and I like it. I like the Russian language. I think it expresses certain things in a very clever, good, smart way, and certainly Russians do not have the retardation of the English. Absolutely not. They can consciously ignore, you know, certain subtle things of normal humans, and often do, but it's intentional and well known, and it's not a mistake. They're doing it on purpose, and both men and women. And I quite like them for that sometimes, because they're quite direct, they're quite raw. You know, they can be quite brutal, but there's an honesty in it. Noventelian says, I've heard that some people experience a personality change when they speak another language. Well, to a certain extent, another language certainly expands your mind because it gives you different perspective on things. Even something as simple as colors. You know, in Italian, we've got names for shades of blue that you don't have in English. Or rather, that most English people aren't completely aware of at all. You know, you've got cyan, azure, blue, navy blue. You know, we've got azzurro, aquamarino, blue, uh, blue cielo. You know, we've got different. You know, azure exists in English, but they've done a very interesting test where with people that spoke a language where they had different shades of blue. I think it was Turkish and English. And the English people didn't recognize that there was like 3 different types of blue. They just like said, oh, well, there's only like 2 types of blue. It's blue and blue. You know, it's blue and light blue and dark blue. And while the Turkish people could see like, you know, there's different shades. So literally it affects how you can physically see things, which is not a surprise to me, given, you know, hypnosis and all that stuff. So Would knowing any other language expand your expressive ability? Yes, of course, it does. Yeah. William Poole, were Catholic societies' rules, laws, and social norms in the past set up to prevent the members to go to hell? I think that is just and slow and shows caring. The secularists don't understand that individual freedom is a road to sin, misery, and hell. Yes, absolutely they were. And the more I live, the more I understand how Catholicism creates a truly wonderful society. Proper Catholicism, of course, not, you know, Churchianity or Bergoglianism, Molochian, satanic shit. Absolutely, Catholicism, and also passages in the Bible, like, you know, the way the Protestants interpret the whole, like, you know, role between man and wife, and like the woman must just obey and stuff like that. And yes, she should, because she's a helpmeet and all that. But the Catholic interpretation of that is far superior, and natural and correct and beautiful. And applying it gives you really much better results. So, yeah. Personality change with different language speaking is true for me. Not entirely, but noticeable. Well, you've already said that you feel very feminine, and think, what is it? You wear high heels when you speak French, and a skirt or something. I don't know. It's further up in the in the chat. Carlos says I can speak some Hebrew. Makes me want hummus and a vaccine. Very good. Chad, did you learn to speak Zulu, Xhosa while in South Africa? No. I absolutely refuse to speak languages that have absolutely no use whatsoever. Zulu, Xhosa, Swahili, and Afrikaans are all the same. You know, you can't discuss philosophy or nuclear energy or space shuttles with it. You know, you can't even talk about planes, really. So why the hell would I want to learn that? William Poole. China has demographic issues, supposed to drop down to 700 million in several decades. I don't know about that. Hello, Aaron. Montefun. What is the practical significance of recognizing more than one type of blue? Says the eternal Germanic spirit. Oh, good God. The fact that you can talk about it, that you can differentiate, the fact that you can actually physically see different colors of blue and have a more interesting life. LARPing as the Duchy of Burgundy. Hello. Matthew Clark. Is trade at 31 too old? Thinking electrician. Any recommendations? No, it's not too old. What the hell is wrong with you? 31. Jeez. Trade school. I don't know that you even need a trade school. Just apprentice with somebody, you know. Just get a job with an electrician and say, I'll be your bitch boy until I learn. You know, that's how it used to be done in the old days. I don't know that you need specifically go to trade school. Maybe you do, I don't know. But no, I don't think it's too old. 31 is like, whew, you've barely learned how to walk, man. Alright, well, it's live. I've had a pretty rough couple of days, so it's a little bit late. I'm 34, haven't given up yet. Yeah. Tadpoles. You're tadpoles. Young, foolish tadpoles. China's, I'm guessing that's demographic rather than democratic issue, is that most of them are jabbed. Well, I don't think they get a choice, dude. They probably just put them on a conveyor belt and like those sewing machines, just like jabs, needle jabs, you know, for the facts. Alright guys, I'm going to give you guys another 2 or 3 minutes. Shoot any stupid ass question you want, and I'll try and answer it. Okay. There you go. Woolly Ram tries to explain to a German. Being able to describe blue summer sky or the blue of a stormy sea is worth it for its own sake. Indeed. Indeed. Basha Bazi Boy Scouts. Seriously, dude. Get another name. I thought about taking up plumbing. That's an honorable profession, isn't it? I don't know. With your name, I'm wondering what kind of plumbing you're talking about. But yeah, you know, anything that builds stuff or keeps stuff going is going to be a sorely needed skill pretty soon, I think. I don't know when exactly, but certainly in the next 10 years, I think you're better off being a plumber than an accountant or something. Macellerati. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen Macellerati in the chat. Hey Kurgan, I remember you saying if the Three Gorges Dam broke, that China would be screwed. Am I paraphrasing wrong? Thoughts, or has your perspective changed? No, it hasn't changed. I do think that'd be screwed. Carlos says, Shalom, you have many matzah balls? Plumbers are going to be the future warlords. Being able to maintain clean water will be essential, indeed. And LARPing as the Dutch of Burgundy says, do you think America will balkanize? Yes. If you're lucky. Otherwise it'll just, you know, a big crack in the earth will open up and swallow it whole. America's screwed, man. I think the only place worse than America is Australia. Well, no, I lie. Australia, New Zealand, and Canada are all worse than America. In America, you've still got enough land that you can probably lose yourself in some forest, I would guess. But yeah, America's done. I think one of my kids might have got up, so I'm going to call it a night, boys and girls. Thank you all for being here. And don't forget, this is the product of Satanists. And on that note, I bid you good night.